Good morning and welcome to another edition of your Eastern Idaho Planning Briefing, this one for the morning of Thursday, June 18th. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here again at the National Weather Service office in Pocatello. Folks, we made it. All the dreary, cold, snowy, rainy, wet weather that we've been dealing with over the past couple days finally breaking out of that pattern, that low pressure storm system that came through and gave us all that weather over the past 2 to 3 days, finally moving off to the north and east into Canada. It's going to have a few lingering effects over our area in the form of some isolated showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm for a few spots just over the next couple days. But other than that, we are done. We have moved beyond that little intrusion of winter, and we're moving back into a more summer-like weather pattern. As you can see here on our impact summary, a warming and drying trend begins today, and that's going to continue right through the upcoming 7 days. Not currently expecting any significant or really hazardous weather across the region. Note here for fire partners, though, the finer fuels and grasses. We're really wet right now. We've had a lot of soaking rainfall, but those finer fuels and grasses are expected to start to dry out. Become a little bit better at carrying fire at the lower elevations as we go through next week with this warming and drying trend moving in to southeast Idaho. Current satellite view here, there's that system moving off to the northeast into Canada, that low pressure system, and a general region of ridging, some high pressure starting to slowly build into the northern Rockies and Great Basin region. And again, this is going to be our main player. This is going to be our main influencer as we go over the next 5 to 7 days. Little bit of patchy fog out there this morning, so we're not completely free of some impacts. This is a webcam image from the interchange known as the Puzzle to some. It's out where US 20 and 26 meet near the entrance to INL, and you can see a little bit of patchy dense fog out there, and that's certainly not surprising after all of the wet weather, all the moisture lingering behind this system that's moving out of the area. We're not expecting death and destruction. We're not expecting widespread, horrible fog this morning, but as you're commuting or heading out for work or recreation today, particularly through about 9 or 10 a.m. this morning, usual safety rules apply. If you encounter fog, slow down, don't use your high beam headlights, and that'll tend to burn off here a few hours after sunrise. Weather impact overview. Nothing really lit up in terms of impacts. Like I said, we're not expecting any significant or hazardous weather over the next 5 or more days. We'll take an opportunity here to review. We do list some cities over here on the left for these zones, but we do actually have a little bit of a reference map here kind of showing how we broke out the different regions of our forecast area for this matrix. We're still working on trying to make this available to everyone as a reference, so stay tuned for that. But here's the map if you want to take a quick moment and make sure you know your zone and know where you're located here in our forecast area. And as I flip back to the matrix, you can see some of those lingering impacts from that departing low pressure system. Few showers or storms lingering across portions of the eastern highlands, the Lost River area, up into Lemhi County and the Sawtooth area, particularly today, possibly Friday and Saturday as well. Not expecting any significant rain, significant snow, or major impacts out of this lingering activity. A little bit of breezy conditions here too over the weekend for portions of the Snake Plain and Magic Valley. Currently not looking like we're going to hit advisory criteria with that. So kind of typical weather for southeast Idaho over the weekend. Low temperatures waking up this morning, cold. Remember, we were worried about maybe a little frost, and right now for our main agricultural corridor here down the Snake Plain, Eastern Magic Valley, looks like temperatures are going to hold in the mid to upper 30s. This has been playing out pretty well so far on the obs this morning, so I don't think we're going to have much in the way of frost. Certainly, we routinely see frost this time of year lingering in a few of the other mountain valleys across southeast Idaho. High temperatures today are finally breaking out of those 40s and 50s. You can see here we're expecting upper 50s to near 70 depending on your location across the region. As usual, warmest into the eastern Magic Valley. Again, a few isolated hit or miss showers or thunderstorms lingering. Best potential for that central mountain region. Up here, including Lemhi County, and then stretching along the Montana border, possibly into the Upper Snake Highlands. It can't rule out maybe an isolated sprinkle elsewhere over the mountains, but I think this northern area is the best chance for picking up on a little bit of this low impact lingering activity today. Friday, we add a little bit more warmth. Again, warming, drying trend for the next 5 to 7 days, building across the region with high pressure moving in. Temperatures getting up here into the 60s and 70s, so it's going to feel a little more seasonable across the region. Maybe another hit or miss isolated shower, particularly across the Central Mountains or Upper Snake Highlands. Saturday, We break into the 70s to low 80s. Returning to the forecast, you can see those warmer temperatures creeping in at lower elevations, particularly in the eastern Magic Valley. 80s starting to approach 80 degrees even from Burley, stretching over toward the Pocatello area. Pretty dry across the region for the weekend. Sunday, we add even a few more degrees, as you can see here. Should be pretty much done with any of that lingering shower activity by the time we get late into the weekend. And finally, for Monday, we're going to continue, again, this warming and drying trend as we inch into next week. Right now, expecting low to upper 80s across lower elevations of our forecast area for Monday. Pretty similar temperatures into Tuesday as well. And we're monitoring to see how close to 90 we'll get. I can't rule out maybe a few 90s creeping into the forecast as well as we go into mid next week. Again, pretty light winds, pretty low impact, dry and sunny conditions will dominate as we head into the new work week across the region. So that's what we're expecting. Again, the storm is done. Warming and drying trend begins. Not currently expecting significant or hazardous weather across southeast Idaho. That's it for your hazard briefing this morning. As always, feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, or concerns, and have a great Thursday.